What's up, fellas?
Well, hello.
Hello. Yeah, I miss you guys.
Episode 3. We 3'd up.
Episode 3.
No, this is 4.
Yeah,
This
you
is
got me
4.
outside
three
today.
down. We
This is
3
4.
down.
This is 4. You guys all look good. I miss every last one of you guys.
Miss you too, brother.
Yeah. Yo, I don't even know if this is a fresh look going on my man right here. This is Stu. Is that you behind there?
Yeah, that's me.
Always.
Yeah, listen, I just want to give a shout out to Haran Couture, 500 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. He got some dope ski masks, got some dope quality work, clothes, jackets, shirts.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He'll bless you with some good stuff. So.
Okay.
Gotta make sure we come through there and show some support, show some love. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. I'm gonna jump into a few topics today, get to a different thing, get my music going.
You can do all like and subscribe.
Okay.
You gotta like and subscribe. You gotta tell everybody, click it. Listen, go to 4400 on YouTube, like, subscribe. It's not enough just to watch the episode. You guys gotta click the link button, click the subscribe, click the like. And even if you don't like what we're saying, go ahead.
Share it with somebody else.
Yeah. I wanna hear what you gotta say. I wanna hear your thoughts.
Same.
You know what I mean? They may change the total to 5,400 with the audience.
I'm not even gonna fit in the payroll, but
They'll fit in the financial budget, but you get there. All right, first topic of the day, guys. General health lessons for our children. I'm gonna throw this to you first, Mike, and I'm gonna hit you with this question. What are 2 things you wish you knew before you turned 18 years old?
2 things that I wish I knew before turning 18. So the way I kind of structured this is advice that I actually want to give to children. So if you have children, you have nieces, nephews, make sure you bring them on and watch this segment and get some good feedback from 4 men that have already been there and want to kind of prevent some of the mistakes that we went through. But the first one that I would say, I took notes, so y'all got to bear with me on my book. I'm prepared.
I like the notes.
Ain't nothing wrong with the notes.
The first one I would say is you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. The only way that you're going to be able to grow is to put yourself in situations that are unfamiliar. If you're placated at always doing the same thing every single day, then you're going to stay on that same line. But the more you remove yourself and you put yourself in situations that are unfamiliar, uncommon, if you're in school, take up a second language. Instead of taking another phys ed class, take up another culture studies and understand you have to get yourself outside of your bubble. So if you live in a particular area, make sure you get outside of your bubble. You have to go to other neighborhoods, other states, other countries if you're financially able to do so. But the more times that you experience life beyond your block, for lack of a better term, literally the more worldly you'll be. You'll have more influence, you'll have more understanding, and you'll be able to deal with people on another level because you have understanding that's not just one-sided, it's not just jaded, and it's not from one perspective, I'll say. Mm-hmm. And the second thing that I kind of want to caution people to do, and it could be young kids, but it could also be our age group at this point, is to learn everybody else's mistakes, meaning that you shouldn't make the mistake that somebody else already made if they've prepared you for it. You don't have to walk up to the stove every day and touch it to know that it's hot. Somebody already told you it's hot. You saw it burn something. So if I feel like I've gotten pretty far in my life by avoiding all the mistakes that other people have prepared me for.
That's called wisdom.
I haven't been to prison. I haven't been to jail. I haven't been in any kind of real trouble that I've known that I could avoid by watching the other people that made those mistakes. So if you have somebody that has been in a particular place where they don't want to see you go, listen to them, talk to them, have that understanding that the choices that they made that led them up to this point can be avoided if you don't take that same path. If you do alternate things, if you put your head in the book instead of walking down the street and hanging out on the corner, you're gonna avoid the mistakes of everybody on the corner, if that makes sense. So definitely the first one would be to get comfortable being uncomfortable, but also make sure that you're learning from the mistakes before you have to make them.
I'll swing it back to you in a minute. Biggie, what you got on that one?
So the first one would have to be listening to your guardian or your parent is way cheaper than rent.
That's right.
It's way cheaper than rent. Your mom doesn't mind if you go travel and do whatever you need to do, but the rules that she sets, it makes everything better, and it's cheaper than living out there on your own. The other one I would say is learning to flex the reading muscle. Mm-hmm. Constantly flex that muscle, because sooner or later you'll be all on your own and all you'll have is text. But all you need to do is to get through the text. But if you can't get through the text, then you're stranded, because a lot of information is written. A lot of good information is written. A lot of people have opinions on things and a lot of conversations that go on, but what is written seems to not like be the absolute of truth, but it does give you a better understanding as to what someone is willing to commit to print. That matters, and being able to get through that matters. So those are my two things: flex your reading muscle, and your mother's rules are way cheaper than rent.
Cheaper than rent, flex your reading muscle. You got
You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
being uncomfortable,
And learn from everybody else's
learn
mistakes.
from other people's mistakes. What do you guys do?
I'd say credit. When you growing up, especially in our communities, that's not a real topic for discussion. You know, sometimes your family members or your parents or your guardians don't even have good credit. So how can they teach you how to build that up for yourself? And as you become older, that's the most important thing in life that you need. Those values, those principles, as far as having a good credit score, goes a lot longer than just making the money. Because you can make all the money you want, but if you don't have the credit, no one is really going to give you that opportunity to buy a house. Even if you want to get a car, they're going to give you a high interest rates on those cars, even though you got the money for it, but you're going to pay an arm and a leg compared to somebody else that has good credit. So that's definitely one of the tools that I feel like in our culture, in our community, and we're not prepared for as we get older. You know what I mean? And then for two, never let nobody discourage you from anything that you feel like you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times that people have ideas, and you may say the idea, and people are telling you like, "Yo, that's whack. That don't make sense," because they don't get it. Don't let nobody ever dumb you down. If you feel passionate about something and you feel like this is something that can get you to the next hump, or because like, in order for people to come up with these new inventions, they have to sit down and have to start a debate, bump their head. You have to do it. So you can't. Somebody made liquor. How you know they gonna make liquor? You know what I mean?
Good thing they did that.
Yeah, good thing they did that. But somebody has to sit there and practice it, figure out how to do it from corn, from potato, whatever it was to make that. So never let nobody ever.
A couple people got to die just for little bad batch.
Bad batch, you know what I mean? Hey, you took it at your risk.
Every success story comes with 10 failures that you don't see or don't care to know about, because you don't want to stretch it that far. You don't want to think that you have to fail that many times to succeed. You want to look at everybody else.
Basement episodes that'll never get aired.
Yeah.
Oh, they get aired. They never get aired. Don't bring those up.
Them pilots was horrible, especially with that lime green shirt you had on that day. I said,
they going down with NFTs. Brother, give me some advice. I got some children. I want you to raise my children.
Oh, you know, difficult. I sat here and I thought about this question a lot. Two things that I wish I knew before I turned 18, and you know why this was difficult for me, because I think that we got to go through the things that we got to go through to make you who you are. So I don't know if I can answer this truly. I take all the things that you guys just said as something that I think is great advice for young people, but I think you just have to be you. That's the only thing I can say. I mean, I think we all did that, knowing you guys. That's something that's lacking in today's generation. Like I want to embrace that for the young people. That I think that people are a lot more followers. Like back in the day, people was innovators more, and these kids nowadays are more smarter than we were. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they become followers.
And that's why I said don't ever let nobody dumb you down. If you got something that you passionate about, that you feel like you can make this work, go for it.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would tell myself two things. I think that the life experience. I think, like you said when you were talking about the stove, prime example. I think you got to touch the stove sometimes.
So let me flip it on you a little bit, because all of us are raising daughters, but you're the only one of us that's raising a young man. So.
If you need help, call me up.
My nephew. But as he's growing older, there's some information that he's going to get from you as a father that he's likely not going to get from another man, or another man is not going to feel it is his place to speak on behalf of certain topics. So what's one thing that, I'll say this, what's one conversation that you want to make sure you have with him that you don't want somebody else's influence to be first?
I think the interaction with, you know, and this may come off wrong, but like masculinity, I think regardless of whatever path he chooses in life, I always still think that when you're talking to another man, you know, you shake a man's hand when you stand up. You let people know that, you know, whatever's going to happen to you, if something bad, you face it head on. You take responsibility for whatever it is you do. Anything I've done in my life, I take responsibility for. I'm going to own it. I'm not going to sidestep it. So that's the only thing I would want from him. I would want for him to be, to have an integrity and hold your head up. When you're talking to somebody, walk with your head up.
Principle, be a man of principle.
Yeah, my dad used to tell me when I was young, never walk with both hands in your pockets. I never thought about it because if you walk with both hands in your pockets, you trip, you fall on your face. How do you catch yourself? Metaphorically, I never really thought about it until later in life. You always got to keep yourself prepared. So.
Now that I'm over 40, that's all I hear when I got my hands in my pocket. Don't fall, 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 don't fall. It'd be cold. Right. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall.
What you call it? Real quick, this one's going to be a quick one. I don't know, you may have a little bit more depth with this, but I'll let you go first and then I'll bounce it off everybody. What's an ugly truth that you must teach our kids early on?
The ugliest truth that I think I would have to tell my daughter and have to tell children that are watching is that it never gets easier. It never gets easier. It may get better, but in order to make it better, that comes with more sacrifice. That comes with hard work. That comes with you having to give it your all. So it's never going to be easy, but at the same time, if you heed this advice, if you prepare and if you take into account all the things you learn and use them in preparation to go where you're going, then it will get better, but it will not get easier. You have to work your entire life to succeed. But that shouldn't deter anybody. That should just give you more ambition, more of a battery to go out there and succeed, because it's only going to come at your terms. And it's only going to come as hard as you try. So
I'll touch on you just do real quick, shorter answer. Do you have any personal experience? Oh, sorry, I apologize. What's an ugly truth we must teach our kids early on?
Always protect yourself. Never depend on nobody else. Even if they say they got you, always protect yourself. Sexually, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is, always protect yourself. Always make sure that you are in a good space, whatever you're doing, and never put it in someone else's hands. That's one of the ugliest truths that you have to, because a lot of times kids grow up and they feel like, oh, he said he's going to do this, or no.
Yeah, it's up to you.
That's up to you.
What you got, B? Talk to me. Talk to me dirty, but keep it clean.
Learn how to lie.
Good.
Sometimes revealing the truth is not beneficial to certain people and to certain situations. So just learning the audience that you're speaking to and try to lie to them in a way that is beneficial for the both of you.
I feel like you said this before in one of the episodes.
Yo, I thought that was bad when I said.
I'm about to say we got to clean this up a little bit. So you're saying to lie to avoid certain situations, but don't lie to be deceptive.
Don't tell the truth over a good lie that will gain. Like, a truth can cut you off.
I'm trying to help you clean it up.
No. It's sometimes in a lot of situations,
Clean
telling the absolute truth can get you cut off from a situation. But lying to make sure that it benefits everybody, it's like a massaging of whatever topic. You put it in, like, whatever the case may be. I do believe that if you find a way to
trying not
talk
to be specific.
your audience.
I got one better for you. We're going to call it alternate facts.
Alternate facts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. That's
Alternate facts brought to you by bullshit.
Listen,
It's bullshit.
learn how to lie, man.
I like it.
Learn how to do it.
For me, ugly truth you must tell the kids. I think I'll steal a little bit from all you guys too. I think it just never gets easy, like you said. And I tell you, nothing is, this place to this situation. I know this is a little bit of a curve, but I know a lot of people go into depressions and they start committing suicide when things get harder, when you go all those thoughts. I never been there. We see a lot more of it in today's society because you have a lot more access to the internet and other things like that. But I will tell the younger people that nothing is that bad. You'll get over it. Tomorrow is a new day. You start over.
Yeah, that's
true. Listen, even being broke, going to jail, whatever it is you have to do, getting a new girlfriend, getting a new boyfriend, it's not the end.
Yeah.
There's going to be more boyfriends, there's going to be more girlfriends, there's going to be more love, more heartbreak, whatever it is. So That's an ugly truth. That for me, it's just.
That's a good one though, because every day is replaced by a different day. So when I thought I was down on my worst luck, had my worst day, thought it would never be any worse than that, the next day was better.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't a great day, it was better than that. So as long as you can persist and continue to move forward, again, those are just setbacks that you'll look back at once you arrive where you're going.
And also you gotta look at it like this: you're alive. So
Yeah.
being alive, they always give you the opportunity
There you go
to
right there.
correct
Give me
it right
breath.
there.
I could fuck some other shit up.
That's a
another
reset
day.
button. Every single day you wake up is a reset button for you to go out there and start this shit over if
And
you
you
need
could
to.
annoy other people more than they annoyed you the day before. So that's how I was.
Petty P.
That's it.
Shout out to Petty P.
Gotta
Shout out
stay
to
petty.
Petty P.
You gotta stay petty.
This guy. Can you get a zoom in on that petty?
On the petty. Listen. Every day.
Petty merch
My clothes, I picked
already.
my shirt up from the store. It was
Petty
petty.
merch already.
Listen, gotta be petty.
I like that. That was a good one.
All right, boom.
Ad-lib Kush.
Listen, somebody asked me before we're gonna get music. I'm like, no, I'm the music guy on this show.
Drum machine.
Yeah, you solidified that
Crown Heights drum machine.
I'm no Bed-Stuy. Don't do me like
Take
that.
it.
I hung out in Crown Heights. Bed-Stuy.
That's where you played the drums. Go ahead.
Clocking in, workplace navigation. All right, we're gonna go right here to Stewie McFly on this one. Do we need to conform while in the workplace? Why or why not?
You do to a certain degree.
You trying to tell me you're not this person at work? You don't show up to work like this with a mask on?
Conformity.
Listen, man, work. What I do is totally different. I can't dress like this at work. You know what I mean? I'd be wasting a lot of clothes. But you do it to a certain degree. You always keep your integrity, but who you are as a person, sometimes you have to navigate to flow through flow through the work system. So if I talk to him or you or all of us how we have our communication, I may not be able to translate that into the workplace. So I have to be cautious of that, and then people may take it the wrong way. My level of tone has to be different, because if I talk a certain way and I talk to this person that way, they feel like I'm threatening them. And these things that I had done has happened to me at the workplace, where two of the same races could say certain things that they get to each other and it'd be no problem. But then if I say it, I feel threatened. So you just gotta know how to navigate, and I think that's the most important thing for us as a culture. When you get to these places, especially if you want to elevate to certain places, you have to know how to associate yourself with different cultures and different people, but not forget who you are as a person. And I think that's the most important thing.
I like it. B, I thought it was one of you.
Sound like he said, learn how to lie.
In retrospect.
Wow.
You're not lying.
Listen,
You're not lying.
Listen,
You're not
I know,
lying.
but you just said what I said, which is that the truth can cut you
No,
off.
conformity is a
different.
segue to
No, you
lie.
guys use the alternative facts. I'm gonna agree with Biko on this one. Sounds like you said that you need to lie at work.
No, you don't need to lie.
But you do. How you talk to your boss matters. How do you talk to...
Conformity is lying for a purpose.
No, you are an individual who don't take no shit from nobody. That's who you are. That is your truth. But here, right now, what you need to do is lie about that and say, hey, listen, I'm somebody who can be here for 20 years. I'm a valuable employee. I mean something to the team. I won't hit nobody.
I won't say all that, but go ahead. That's the lie. That's the lie.
They don't know.
Yeah, I would say all that, but go
Door
ahead.
number 2.
But minds would have to be to always be courteous. To be courteous at work, this is like the best lie of all time. It is. Like, you are not that important to me as far as like what my life is. This is my life. These are my friends. These are my people. These are my family. But when it comes to these clients, when it comes to people who I deal with, the truth is you're not that important. But the greatest lie of all time is, yes, you are. You're absolutely important. Here's everything that you need, everything you would ever want, and that continues business. And I think that is a good thing.
So you conform.
Of course I do.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
By lying. By lying.
Alternately factual.
How would you got, Mike?
I'm gonna say you have to conform, but not in the way that most people think. You don't have to change who you are, but in terms of conformity and the space that you're in, you have to do so professionally. So what that means is that you have to understand the business that you're representing. You have to understand the space that you're in, and the idea, narrative, product, whatever it is that you're trying to push is not you. It's generally not you unless you're a celebrity that has their own brand, but then you could kind of, in some ways, you still have to conform to meet certain goals and attract certain business. But in terms of your professionalism, I think the way that you speak, the way that you act, the way that you dress. Basically, your disposition as a whole has to be somebody that conforms to the normity of whatever that is. If it's a
You
particular
sound
subject.
contradictory to the episode that we shot before when you was
Well,
like,
let me hold that letter. You can get in the comments.
You sound very contradictory
Do
right
that
now,
in the
bro.
comments.
Gotta make a ghost page.
I know about that.
Episode 3.
No, you have to conform in that standard, only in the standard of professionalism. You don't have to, in our case, you don't have to change your blackness. You don't have to mitigate yourself who you are, but you have to understand your environment.
But should you mitigate your blackness?
I wouldn't say mitigate your blackness, but if your blackness is on volume 10, yeah. You know what I mean? If you know who you are in certain situations, you have to understand that in the work environment, that's likely not tolerated. Now, if we go out after work, show your ass, have fun. But if we go out after work, you show your ass and we're having fun, that's one thing. If you show your ass and our boss is still there, you got to understand your environment. So you have to conform based on the circumstances that you're in.
Surface, but very personal. But if the job required you to shave your beard, how attached are you to it?
I've done that. I've done that without it being explicitly said.
And grew it back in 2 weeks.
I had braids, I had dreads, I had twists. No, I've done
crazy.
that. I've done that only because the perception that I felt like I was stagnated for a long time without any opportunity. So I said, let me see if I could do something different.
And it worked, right?
Potentially.
So would you suggest mitigating your blackness? Because that's all you.
Samson?
I wouldn't say.
The strength in his hair.
And again, I don't think I had to do that, and I didn't do that. That was more.
No. I'm just saying. So do you? So you don't.
I would say
regret
no.
it?
I wouldn't tell anybody to change their hair. I wouldn't tell anybody to change their style.
As you get older now, would you? I mean, you said you did it before. Would you do it now?
Would I change?
Before,
Well, absolutely
yeah.
not. No, absolutely not. Now I wouldn't, only because I feel like I've gotten to a place in my life where I've afforded myself to make those decisions. So if this thing is not,
you run things good.
Yeah,
I like that. I like the way you
if this is not for
You
me,
run
then I
things.
can remove myself comfortably, financially, and find something else, something that permits me to still be who I am, look like how I look, and still deliver impeccable service, like you were alluding to before. I don't think it takes away from anything unless you are in an environment that requires everybody to wear a uniform, to look a certain way, to say a certain phrase. Then that's confirmation or conformity in a certain stance. But you as yourself, just understand your environment.
So can I ask you this one question? So if someone's offering you $500,000 a year, right? And they say, "Yo,
I'm
Mike,
sold.
Yeah, I'm doing whatever you're gonna say next. Go ahead.
cut that beard off." You cutting the
What
beard
bit?
off?
I would say this. I would cut the beard off because it's not something for me that I take personally. It's not a religious beard.
Right.
It's not something that makes me. I keep this beard because I got a little ass neck. You know what I mean? If I shave this shit, I'm gonna look like a lollipop. But if I'm a $500,000 lollipop, I'm gonna do it.
What products do
Would
you
I
use
do
in that?
anything that it was completely against my morals for that money? Nah, I wouldn't do that.
What do you
But
use
the
on that
beard,
beard?
I'd lose the beard.
What do
I
you use
cut
to
these
get
hair.
that beard like that? What do you use? I want to.
Puerto Ricans. I use the Puerto Ricans. Puerto Rican oil.
All right, quick. I'm gonna move on real quick. Do you have? I'm gonna go to you, Bika.
Okay.
Do you have any personal experience of conforming at work?
Yeah, I once worked at a high-end luxury brand, and it would be considered my worst job of all time. I opened up the door, and that's all I was allowed to do. Like, I was just a guy in a suit that would open the door and gave the suggested phrase of the day. Hello, welcome to 4400. Hello, welcome to 4400. Hello, welcome to 4400. It was very demoralizing because I felt like I was conforming in such a way that I'm not a person. Like, I'm not a person. You just have enough money to hire someone to open up a door.
So that could have been anybody. It wasn't you.
It could have been. It could have been automatic. It could have been automatic. Like, you could have just put a timer on it, and every 5 seconds you have someone.
Let me ask you this: when you signed up for that job, did you have any expectation that it would be different?
I didn't know how much of myself I would lose while doing it.
So you felt you lost yourself.
Thought you was gonna be a cool ass doorman.
Because when someone, absolutely. That's absolutely what got me in trouble.
How you been today?
The boss came with the one finger across your mouth. Say the lines.
He said, I can't wear my do-rag. No, you cannot wear your do-rag.
Take your do-rag off. All right, still throw to you, Craig. Do you have a personal experience of conforming at work?
Yeah. There's been times where if you was outside, I put hands on you. Right?
Shit.
Nah, I'm
Pause on you. Gotta put the pause on.
Listen, and you realize at a certain point when you work in these jobs and, it's providing a very substantial lifestyle that you live, that you can't go off emotion. And if we was outside and where we come from, certain words and certain things to be said to you, you be ready.
You understand like, you late again?
Nah.
I swear to God, if I wasn't at work, I didn't know that with the mask on in the parking lot.
but not those. But that's not it though. But it's just certain things, attitudes, and certain mannerisms that people give to you, and they feel like it's okay. Maybe because I have the baby face, they probably feel like I'm, one of their young children or something, or they sons or
that's
whatever.
That's a baby face complex. I think you have. I think you just be angry with people because your face is baby face. You think you're trying to play.
I'm a cool guy,
like,
bro.
Good morning. Why you say good morning to me like that?
Nah, I'll never be that. At the end of the day, I don't really say too much. I just come and do my job and go home. That's really what is important.
That's conforming to you?
No, it's not conforming. It's the conforming part is I can't be or talk how I want to talk as far as if I was in a closed setting. Mm-hmm. So everybody knows you're at work. If you're working with a brand, you have to be on the outside. When you home, you could be who you really want to be. Outside, I may not be able to drink. But when I'm home, I could drink whatever the fuck I want to drink. You understand? So, with that being said,
I don't want to get lost on time. Just have a personal experience of conforming at work.
Yeah, I knew that where I wanted to be at a particular job, and this was a few years ago, I knew that I would have to remove myself from certain groups in order to put myself, at least under the eye of those people that made decisions to get me where I wanted to be. So to explain that in detail, I used to be let's just say I had a part-time job. I had a part-time job, cool as shit, hanging out with everybody, chilling in the locker room, talk shit before your shift, and potentially go out after work and get drinks. I knew that in the time and tenure that I was there, that I was on track to be a manager soon. So in becoming a manager, I had to remove myself from those parties, from those gatherings, because one day I might have to write your ass up. And I don't want it to look like
you ain't cool
I'm
no
not
more.
writing my friends up, or it's only a small circle of folks that I'm willing to allow to be late to work. So you have to remove yourself, again, in those segments of professionalism. You have to mitigate who you are, even who you wanted to be. Like, I damn sure wanted to go out with my staff most nights and just chill. You know what I mean? After something was over, go to the bar, hang out, drink for a little bit, go home, because that's what's comfortable. That's me. That's what we do. You know what I mean? That's cool. That's a chilling environment. But if I want to put on that suit and tie and get that salary that everybody else is getting that I desire, then I have to do what they do. I have to remove myself. I have to go sit and eat lunch by my damn self. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of things that you have to sacrifice, but that's what I meant earlier in the episode, is that you have to sacrifice.
They still gonna talk about you eat by.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's one thing. That's a really good point. Is that in doing that, you also have the expectation that you're no longer cool. You know what I mean? Like, you might be the sellout.
Yeah.
I've heard that shit behind closed doors or from other people. Is that, oh, look who he is now. He used to be with us, and now look, he the manager and shit. Now he gonna write me up because I'm an hour late. Fucking write you up. But that's because I've understood that this is the sacrifice you have to make if you want to be on this tier. If you want to go up to this level, you got to leave this level right where it's at.
Yeah, I'll say for me. I don't know if I have a personal. I don't think I've had to conform in my job too much, only because I consistently can be who I am every day. The problem you have is dealing with the customer. Right? Every job that we work in is there's a customer, right? The customer's always right. If you're building something, if you're sanitation and you pick up the garbage and the person wants to say whatever, or you have to deal with that person saying that. And like you said, my coworkers have never really been the problem for me. To me, is dealing with the outward world when people start socializing with you, because, growing up, when you grow up, if somebody say they invite you to the Frank stand, or they tell you, SMD.
Yeah.
At that point, it's physicality, but there's a level of professionalism, So just to, reiterate some of the comments that was said before when people talk about McDonald's, I love McDonald's. If I worked at McDonald's, right, and I was there and I messed up your order and you told me the SMD, that's a level of conforming because in my neighborhood, if one of my friends, people I grew up with, said that to me, we have to physically fight. It's a duel. It's a duel. Go get a sword and meet me outside. Now there's a situation where I represent this brand or this company. I can't resort to violence, which violence is never really the answer, but it's in our nature to feel like you overstepped a boundary. So, I don't necessarily want to, like as I was listening to all you guys say, I don't want to call it conforming, I want to say growth. I want to say it's growth. But like you just said a minute ago when you became the manager, it's like, I'm elevating myself to try to keep everybody in line. Or like you said, I'm not going outside to fight people. It's like, almost at 40, should you be going outside to fight people regardless if you could? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Those things. Or even same thing with you. If you're at that job and you're saying, all I'm doing is answering the door, then maybe you say, you know what? Let me do something that's a little bit better for me. So it's not conforming or
Conformity
whatever.
is just a bad word. I don't like, that's a negative connotation, but we understand the
for
idea.
For the lack of a better term, for the team it was. We were doing it for the team. But I think it's a level of growth.
I'll say this.
For me.
I think starting this answer off between all four of us, I think conformity, I took it as a bad word, but in seeing everybody's answer and understanding that it's actually not a bad thing, it's something that you have to do. It's not. It's
right.
not
I feel like I learned it right there when I was listening to you guys. I was like, it's a good thing you didn't go outside and beat that guy up because then you'd be getting a charge, you'd be locked up, then you lose your
be
job.
going backwards. That's
you
regression.
You have your nice chains and your mask. You know what I'm saying? That jacket, I wish it was my size. All right, guys. Next topic. I don't have no music for this, so I'll just sing a little. Right?
That's bass.
Clocking out. We clocked in, right? We talked about work stuff. Now we're going to say vacations and mental health days. I'm going to throw this to you first, Bika. How important is it for us to take vacations?
I've never taken one, so I'm
Ever?
actually asking y'all.
Ever?
I'm not far behind you.
Nah, I think I went to LA for like 3 days, but I don't.
That's a vacation.
Yeah, but
I've never been.
yeah, I've never really like.
You beat me.
If a vacation is a moment in which you just like, whoa, I don't have to think about work, I don't have to worry about work, it's just about that, that's not true. Because in my head, all I keep hearing is, yo, you missed a client, you missed another client,
You missed
you
out some
did
money.
that. And then my stress level was just like, yeah, I got a nice tan, I'm sitting out here and I'm enjoying the sun, and I just feel like,
You could be making some
oh,
money.
really? That's the way you think your life is going? You think you just got chill time? You got time to just lay around?
That was me last week.
Yeah, I
I was
don't.
laying out in the pool like a beach whale.
And see, that's why you be so wired. You know what I mean? Like,
You think so?
Let me
Yeah.
ask you real quick. Does vacation have to be a destination for you?
My vacations, honestly, my vacations come like just like when I get around like people who I care about, people who I care for, and just like start a series. Obviously, I'm one, going to fall asleep, and two, we not going to finish this entire series, but let's just start it. And that time that we just sitting there, we chilling, and that I can actually drown out the sound of missing
That's not
clients.
a vacation if you home.
It's called staycation. That's what it's called.
Yeah, but that's
I
not
know.
even that. He just
I
going
know,
on break.
but I'm just
but that's a
saying.
mental. He needs it.
Let's
That's
go
a
to you,
mental
Stu. How
break.
important is it for you to take vacations?
I think it's important. I think as men, especially when you're goal driven, you get so wrapped into what you're doing that you forget about yourself. And I think that's important that you always, like I said before, take care of yourself, because you are the person that has to continue to, take care of whatever you need to take care in life. So if you're not good, then you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. So
You ain't no good for
and
nobody
else. So, and that's pretty much it. Like, you need at least a couple of days, get your mind back, come back to work, and then you be like, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go again.
Yo, Vacation Mike, what you got?
Oh, I wish I was vacation, Mike. I ain't had a tan in I don't know how long. But in terms of vacation, I'm kind of in his same vein. Like, I don't take vacations, and I think that stemmed from me just as young as even elementary school. Like, I didn't want to miss a day because I didn't want to catch up on homework. I didn't want to have to figure out the shit that we did yesterday that I got to catch up on now. And in that same vein, I don't want to miss out on money. That's why I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You're already out there making money.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, because there's money to be made out here. I don't want to miss a beat. I don't want to feel like, I left something out there.
Yeah.
So I haven't taken many vacations. With that said, I
We
wish
taking
I.
a vacation this year. 400
Oh
vacation.
yeah, we out
Yeah,
there.
we
We
out.
out there.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
taking my shirt off too. I'm gonna be the first one to take my shirt off on camera.
Yeah.
How many days we talking? This is what I'm saying. This is the problem that I have.
No, see, so I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna go for the first 2 days. You gonna fly in for the next 2 days, and we gonna tap out in the air.
This is the problem that I have.
See, that's when we gotta start having fun, so you don't think about it. You know what I mean? That's all.
Look, now with that said, I think we should look forward to vacations, and we should look forward to them the same way that we look forward to daily breaks. If you halfway through your shift, you can't wait to go sit down for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you are halfway through a season or halfway through, a couple of months of you really burning out, you need that, like that vacation, even if it's a day, if it's a staycation, if you're at home, you need that time to reset. Again, that's another reset button that's really just going to recharge you. So if you're going nowhere, fine. If you can't afford to financially get out of somewhere, just take the break. You need the break in order for your mind.
Didn't you just take a vacation?
Yeah, I
last
actually
week.
take vacation every January, so you guys know, right? So don't follow me, you guys who hate me. Don't follow me to my vacations. I took a very good. I went to Dominican Republic. I hung out and I took a break. I went to KFC. They have KFC over there. It's very delicious.
You went that far to get KFC?
Yo, bro. First
It's totally different. It's totally different.
I'm
Tell
telling
me
you,
all
Totally
about the
different.
KFC.
No,
You supposed to
Yeah,
catch
you
a chicken and
understand.
pop the head off it
Nah,
and throw that shit
bro,
on
bro.
It's two different things
Don't
over here,
disrespect
bro.
to the KFC in the United States. The
I went to
KFC over
KFC in
there.
Puerto Rico.
No, bro, it
Nah,
ain't the KFC in
nah.
DR, bro. I don't know if they killed this chicken live and made him right there.
I would hope that they did.
Shout out to KFC
I hope they
too,
didn't
because
kill it
I don't want
dead.
the McDonald's comment I made. I
Shout
don't
out
want
to
to beef.
KFC in Puerto Plata.
Yeah, right. Punta Cana, right? No, but I take one every January. First of all, because there's a reset. I have to press a reset button. So as y'all know, like you said, the same thing. I'm gonna be at work tomorrow. I'm gonna get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go back to work. And I work from 4 in the morning to 1 in the morning the next day. I'll do what I gotta do in the confines of that time in order to say, I have enough money right now in order to not stress for the 4 days that I'm gone. So
Yeah.
I will kill myself in those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. For this whole week, I'm going to go insane at work and whatever, because I do realize this. If you work at JP Morgan, if you work at Madison Square Garden, everywhere you work, that place is still going to be going if you're not there.
Pretty much.
If you get smacked by a fucking bus today, and you are no longer here, the show is gonna go on. Nobody's gonna mourn you.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna do anything. So January of every year, I'm taking a vacation. I don't give a flying fuck what's happening in my office. People could be doing whatever they want. Guess what? January, I'm gone, and I do a reset. And then my birthday, in March, the whole month is mine. So we're going on vacation. I'm going on vacation with student, and we're gonna be on vacation there a while at the same time. So I'm telling you like this.
Sandy didn't just invite us. He just going.
I invited you.
I ain't
Don't do
got the
that.
time.
Don't do
All
that.
right.
You see, he played. You
see,
always
I
got
got
time.
time.
You always got time. Kill yourself. Kill yourself from January to February, and then March you go wild out for 4 days.
Come on.
That sounds nice.
Come on.
All right. Real quick. This got to be a quick one. You got to hit and go. It's like a smash and grab. Are mental health days the poor man's vacation?
Absolutely. I'll take a mental health 12 hours. Just cause.
Yeah. What you got? So a mental health day, poor man's vacation.
No. Poor men don't have a chance to have a mental health day.
I like it. A mental health day. Are mental health days the poor man's vacation?
I'm gonna say yes because a poor man. I think poor man can't afford a vacation. So mental health day is gonna be his vacation. Not only his vacation, is gonna be his therapist, is going to be his silent physician, because he might not be able to afford himself the time and money to do all these things. But as long as he takes that at least 24-hour break, then
That's why you need to be at work, because he's a poor man.
There you go.
No, but again, if he takes that mental health break, he's using that as a vacation. Sometimes he might not necessarily need it, but I mean, mental health day is different for everybody. But if he can't get a vacation day, take that mental health day.
I'll be respectful to this topic as much as possible. I'm not too versed on mental health stuff, and I'm not a physician, or I just feel like we got to make, like, again, in order to get what you want, you got to do what you got to do.
Pretty
And
much.
In that vein of talking about people with mental health, I don't like to dive down that hole because I'm not that educated on that stuff. So I don't want to.
So I tell you, mental health is just the same way that you're talking about a vacation.
Break.
Do you ever have a day where instead of going somewhere, you just hit reset in the house? in some way, and not just in the house. Let's just say I go
can be
to
a
go
snow
eat
day.
somewhere. I go to drink somewhere. Go get me a steak. You like steak? Those kind of things, and then like boom, I'm ready to come back to reality.
But if you poor, how can you do all that?
I'm to my him.
Oh, I'm just saying. All right, cool. My fault.
He not.
No,
he
I'm not.
that.
Oh, I'm just saying. If
Because
you
you're saying that you don't know about mental health days. I'm
Look,
asking.
I knew somebody that took a mental health break daily. So I would most of the folks that were salary and tenure, they would grab lunch and they would eat at their desk for 30 minutes, pop on Netflix. One of my former managers, he would always leave. Always leave. Even if he went down the street to get
He was the one to go smoke.
empanadas, if he went to Whole Foods to get some food, if he went to a restaurant to sit down, get the hell out of this environment that really brings you down for 8 to 12 hours a day and remove yourself.
change the scenery.
Change the scenery.
And that's why I said I'm not. That's why I said I'm not well versed on this, because I don't understand that mentality. If I'm at work, if we working anywhere,
The same way people go have a cigarette smoke break. That's
I
a
don't
mental.
I don't even understand that. I don't smoke cigarettes. That's why I said I
Not
don't
me
get
either.
it. Because if I'm at
You know
work,
why people do it.
I don't. Because sometimes I'm at work with people and people just like, I gotta go smoke a cigarette. I'm like, what the fuck did you just do for 4 hours that was stressful? You just sat right next to me and watched the Jets game. Motherfucker like, I gotta go smoke a cigarette. What the fuck happened? Did I miss something? So I don't. That's why I said I'm not well versed in it. So I mean, it's interesting here. You guys talk about even like your anxiety of saying like you're gonna miss $1. I'm like,
Yeah.
Does anything make you drink? Like, y'all need to open this damn bottle and take a shot real quick. Jets.
Besides alcoholism, no, the Jets is the heart attack Jets. Does anything make me have to feel like I need to take a drink? Okay, so if I'm at work and too many things are going on work-wise, when work things are going on too much, right? When too many things are going on, and then things are going on in your personal life, right? Because you got to get your kids into school and things like that. When everything's happening at once and I need to slow down, I'll tell myself mentally, right now I need to slow down, not break. I'll slow down, but I still have to get things done. So I'll do it. I'll just take task by task. I'll say if work is going on, I'll handle work, I'll handle my kids, and I'll put it in order. I don't just want to get away from it.
Yeah,
Right.
it can be a version of a break. Like if you segment your day just to make it easier, it may not be a break where you could take a damn nap, but you're breaking your day up to make it easier.
Right. No, listen, I
But
see
then you
it.
don't need a mental health day if you're breaking your day up.
Yes, you do.
So I gotta get to the bag. All right.
Yeah.
We gotta get to this.
Get the
last-
money, always solve all stuff. You
we
solve
gotta
all
get-
your problems.
Big, I know that was your topic. You have anything else on that one?
No. We
sure?
good.
You
We
sure?
absolutely good.
You
You
got
gonna
you
take
got
a
no
day
hit
off
in?
tomorrow?
What y'all trying to say? I'm not. Listen, I don't have the time.
We're on 11th floor, so if you want to
I don't
just...
know what y'all talking about. I don't have the time. Okay, let's move
I
on.
think these windows are locked.
I think
Yeah, I'm
we're
about to
out
say
of
it's no
time.
balconies.
Ain't no scaffolding, nothing. You want it,
You
brother?
want to take a mental break, brother? You got the cameras off. You can break.
And you smoke one of them little cigarettes you got in your pocket. Yeah.
See, he'll do that. And he'll go, the baby cigarettes.
This man has a whole box of 2-inch cigarettes, and that's how he takes his breaks.
Don't make it seem like I'm saving clips off the street.
No, you find them at the movie theater ashtrays.
That's the thing. That's crazy. I'd be like, when you go smoke a cigarette in the middle of doing it, I'm like, why? I don't understand what
breaking his
happened.
day up.
No, we in a conference call. He's like, I'm like, what happened? Nobody even said topic
Y'all
yet.
niggas talking
Tunes
emojis and
Yeah.
titles.
Yeah. Yo, just pick the phone up. What you stressed out about? All right. On this, the next topic is, and you know what's funny when I was coming up with this topic, we could go so deep into it, but I think we'll keep it surface and we'll leave it for the audience to dive deeper into it. What else we got on the racetrack? Defining racism in 2023. What's the difference between racism, prejudice, and stereotypes? And for me, this topic was because I do work in a large area where there's a lot of white people. I have a lot of social black friends. I have Spanish friends. I have everything. I feel like the word racism gets thrown around too loosely. I feel like we come to a time now, and I don't. And again, to be very clear and to be very frank, I'm not saying that people are not racist, and I'm not saying that things that happen to people are not racist. What I'm saying is, I feel like the word flies out without doing the investigation into the situation. Sometimes you have a white person, they'll use the word nigger, right? And they'll use it contextually. Maybe right or wrong, they shouldn't be using it. I'll be clear with that.
Pretty much.
But sometimes somebody could be arguing with you and be like, oh, you nigger, right? Because they want to say the thing that's going to hurt you
Yeah.
the most. Am I making that person a racist in today's society? Yes. Does it make you a bigot or stereotypes? People might be like, oh, well, this is how white people behave, or like you guys brought up earlier with having braids or a certain look, then people say, well, I'm gonna cut my hair off because I don't want them to look at me a certain way. When we acknowledge these stereotypes out loud to ourselves, but then accuse somebody else who's acknowledging that same stereotype as a racist. When I got my job, I had braids. I cut my hair off the day before I went into my job because I didn't want to have I knew the stereotype of black men with braids.
With little ass braids.
My braids was hang time.
Yeah, okay.
His shit was layups. Okay.
He tested back in his ear.
My shit is on fleek. My hair is thick. It didn't grow.
Yeah,
I was a grower, not a shower. Right? I was a grower, not a shower. I had girth.
It's about to be an edit. It's about to be an edit.
No, I just had girth. My hair
is enough.
I had growth. No, but in all honesty, I cut my hair off because I understood the stereotype. I look back on it now and say, maybe I shouldn't have done that because I was placating to somebody else's stereotype. But does that make somebody racist? And I think that it just becomes such an easy word, and we haven't, we don't give people enough credit. Sometimes we don't give white people enough credit. We don't give black people enough credit. We don't give Spanish people enough credit to say that we have come so far in our culture that sometimes stereotypical things are a thing.
I'll jump in. I think in me defining racism, I think, yes, very too often, I think that word is thrown out there without the definition actually being in somebody's mind when they say it. Racism, I think racism is active. I think it has intention. I think that it is someone or a group of people or an ideology that looks to suppress, end, or hold back another race of people. Whereas prejudice, I think prejudice is not active, it's passive. I think it's passive ignorance. It's your lack of knowledge, your lack of understanding a particular culture. It may be you saying all black people are loud,
Or Arab people are terrorists. That was big after 9/11.
Yeah. All Arab people are terrorists, all certain people smell like certain things.
People say white people smell like dogs. That's a thing.
Yeah, but
they say it. That's a stereotype.
That's prejudice. That's prejudice because it's ignorant. It's a generalization of a particular people without really having any informed decision. You don't have real insight on it, so you're going to go with the status quo. You're going to listen to the internet. You're going to listen to, I won't even say the collective input of people. I'm going to say the collective input of your immediate circle. So if you're hanging around a bunch of racist people, you may not be racist yourself, but you're going to regurgitate the shit that they say because you have no understanding.
But that's why I made it prejudice, because growing up in your neighborhood, how many white people did you interact with? Or on the flip side, white people, we went to a college that was an all-white college, and some of the experiences that a lot of white people have are white people have with black people. It's their first time intimately experiencing black people. So there's already just your regular prejudice, and then because this person has a view of you, we make them racist.
But again, racism, I think racism is active. So if you're intentionally trying to hurt, harm, stop, or prevent somebody because you don't like the way that they look without really knowing who they are, where they come from, or anything about their story or background, you're racist because you have intent before you have any kind of knowledge.
But what about this? So where do you get the stereotypes from? Why would make you think... Listen. Yeah. Why is it if you come in here with braids, you're looked upon a certain way, but then if someone else coming in with braids and they're not looked upon the same way?
White person can't come in there with braids.
Yes,
they gonna look crazy.
No,
but I'm just saying.
But you want to look black. That's ignorant.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's true. Because also the statement like we said earlier, where you said white people smell like dogs or wet dogs. No, it's a stereotype. I'm not saying. I think white people smell very good sometimes.
Sometimes.
No, because some stink white people like it stink black people.
Yeah.
It's just people stink. If you stink, you stink. If you smell good, you smell good. But the stereotype, I'm not being funny. In black culture, you've heard that. But realistically, how many white people did you grow up around? You just repeat it because you hear somebody else say it. It's like people say, oh, black people like chicken. Some white people never even interact with us to know whether we like chicken or not. You're just repeating it because somebody else said it.
But that's why I feel like it's
so hard.
Chicken
is a universal food.
But the stereotype is only repeating like watermelon and stuff like that. We get it from back in the days. I know it goes deeper. That's why I said in the beginning, this goes deeper. It's
perpetuated ignorance.
But the younger people in our age group only repeat what they hear other people say.
Yeah. But I feel like it's so hard to gauge that off of somebody. Like, how do you gauge whether this person is actually racist. Now, at work, we're also supposed to be telling the lie of like, we're here to serve this purpose, right? We're tackling the task of the day and we're going to handle this. But we all have lives outside of it, right? So, and that's when our racist self show up. Now, sometimes a little bit of it shows up at work, but how well am I supposed to be able to gauge that contextual nigga from a white person? Or like, how well am I supposed to go, like, every time I come in the room, he like suck his teeth. How am I supposed to gauge what that actually means?
Because sometimes you're just an asshole. No, that's what I'm saying. Not you per se.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying sometimes people are just assholes. And you never think about, like, sometimes people...
racist is so hard to gauge because how do you...
But who are you being an asshole to, though? That's another thing you got to be put in retrospect, because now I could be an asshole to you, but if you're different. I'm saying you're a different race. I'm not an asshole to you. I treat you nice and I treat you with kind and treat you with respect. But when you come, I'm an asshole to you and I'm gonna give you my shit.
That's your cultural comfort, though. Like, you brought that up earlier about being in your job. I'm gonna let you get to your shit in a minute.
I ain't say shit.
But no, just hold. I remember, just hold it.
Racist.
Racism. But you know your cultural comfort. Like you said earlier when you say you.
But if you're not racist, then why you can't treat people all the same?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's like, perfect example. I had somebody I worked with before. He was Polish, right? And he also told me when he first got here, the first time he ever saw a black person in real life was here. Anytime he ever saw him was on.
That's a lot of Asia countries.
Was on TV, right? Culturally, your comfort level when you come to this country, you might be talking to somebody who's Polish or who's of your thing a certain way. You know how to handle those people because culturally y'all behave a certain way.
But what is respect, though? Respect is universal.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It should,
no,
like
it's
I'm
not
saying,
because
look,
in European culture sometimes, especially with Russians or whatever, sometimes they come across aggressive, but necessarily may not be trying to be rude. But the way their broken English is, sometimes when they're talking to you, it may come across disrespectful. But I've learned that they're not disrespecting you. That's just the way they're talking.
So I'm gonna speak to one of my friends who was in the Navy, and he ended up going overseas to most of the Eastern countries, China, Japan, Korea. When he's over there, he's 6'4", 6'5", dark-skinned black man. 99% of the population does not look like him. So when he's walking around the street, he gets looked at, he gets stared at, he gets people that want to touch him real quick, want to look at his hair, want to take pictures with him, like he's a celebrity or like he's this object of fear. Like, this is something different that we do not know anything about. So our ignorance knows that this black man might be angry. Don't say anything to him. Don't look him in the eye. Because these are all the contextual elements that you have not having any point of reference. There's no one man in the entire country that looks like this for you to have a reference point and say, oh, no, he's cool. He comes into the shop every day and he orders this and he's a real nice guy. Don't listen to the stereotypes. But if you have no basis of foundation, you're just going to continuously think like, oh, shit, maybe angry black guy. Maybe he plays basketball, he's that tall. You know, like, you don't have any basis.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I went to the Jets game one time. No lie. I'm at the Jets game. I had the luxury box seats. I was sitting with my Jewish friend, right? And we're there, and we have these great seats. We got this free steak and the lobster all the way chilling. Some guy walks over to me. Yo, I used to drive you. Right? I guess that, right? In my mind, he thinks that all black people look alike, right? You play for the Jets, and we having the whole conversation about him driving me. I've never seen this man before in my life. Right? He's going on and on with this story about how he drove me. I remember we were down the block, and I'm like, yeah, we were by Strahan's house. He's like, yeah, Strahan lives 2 blocks. Whole thing, right? In that moment, I can say that's racist because he just saw the all black guys look alike, right? No, maybe not, because he had a full-blown conversation. You didn't realize that you're not talking to the same person.
That's ignorance.
Who did he think he was, though? That's how I really want to know.
He's a lineman for the Jets. He thought I was a defensive lineman for the Jets.
Because you look
That's what I'm
fat and
saying.
black
Racism,
with a beard.
Because I'm fat and black with a beard, right?
Racism is active, meaning that there's hatred for a particular race.
Right, that's what I said.
He was ignorant.
Right, that's what I ended up. That's what I ended up. That's what I said. The initial thought was
To throw out that word.
because that's what we do. We say when somebody says that all black people look alike, that's what you're thinking. But honestly, maybe in his mind.
So is it unfair for people to make it so contextual? Like, I can't believe this guy woke up to me, just like swears I'm just somebody else. Is it wrong for somebody to attribute it that way?
I think so, because when it happens from your own race, you don't attribute it the same way. When it happens, when somebody go, yo, Thomas, you're not Thomas? And you're like, no, I'm not Thomas. And they're like, yo, you look like my boy Thomas, and they walk away.
Yeah.
You don't
You
be
could
like,
look like Thomas, though.
Yeah, right.
but why is it like
Exactly.
that if I do it, but if Jane does it, now all of a sudden Jane's a racist, now all black people look alike? That's my point. So we so quick to put people in the box now today because I feel like it becomes a thing where we just want to be like, you're a racist, I want to label you, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're whatever it is because I don't have knowledge of something.
I think now we accredit other people's ignorance to racism to really make ourselves feel better. Just because a white person, Spanish person, any kind of other person does not know something about you, it doesn't mean that they're racist. It doesn't mean that they are trying to stop you in some way. It just means that this is a point of teaching for you.
Right.
So you could either show them, yeah, I can act like a nigga, or you could show them something completely different.
All right, last one. I'm gonna throw this to you first. You beat up.
What I do?
You're guilty. That's what you did. You're guilty.
He over here about to cry.
Listen,
I'm a racist.
He's thinking about his time.
Racist that don't take
never-
vacations.
Should've
I'm
never
trying
said
to
that.
hold in a cough. Keep going.
That's worse. That's worse than coughing nowadays. Because of COVID, coughing nowadays is worse than racism. So
I
go ahead and
know.
do it. Quick, give me like maybe a 2-sentence thing. Give me a yes or no and give me a reason why really quick. Is affirmative action a solution to racism?
I would have to see how it plays out. I have no idea. I have no idea. I would have to see how that affirmative action is. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, I would have to see how it plays out.
Colleges, kids getting to colleges, coaches being cold.
Like, we allowing people to get into colleges that don't belong there because their grades
It's
aren't
not that
good.
they don't belong there. They might not,
Might get the
again,
look. They
might
might
not
not
have
get
the
the
opportunity,
idea.
might not have the
Yeah, funding.
financials.
That's a bad idea. You should.
It's not just school. It could be.
Yeah, I was giving that as an
workplace.
example.
But that's the example. That's why I said it depends on
So
what
for you,
the
it's
situation
contextual,
is.
like anything in that context. All right, so if it's like a sport and there's 77, football,
I mean,
and
like them hiring white people to join the NBA simply because.
yes, like that kind of thing.
So
That
I've
doesn't
heard
make
this
sense to
before.
me.
Somebody explained affirmative action as positive discrimination. Do you think that would be the case?
Positive discrimination is a good thing?
I'm asking. Do you think?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No. In
What you
that
guys do? Affirmative action. Is it a solution?
Partially. We got to think about Jackie Robinson, the first black player to play in the Major League Baseball, right? For people didn't accept it at first, but he was qualified, and not because he was the best black baseball player out there. He had the best temperament to be able to be put in that position. And what happened when he
That
got
goes
in
back
there?
to the topic. I see how you.
Conformity.
I see how you.
You
spun the block. He
you
spun
see,
the block.
yeah, the right temperament to be in that situation. So, with that being said, he opened the doors for other black players to come in the major leagues because at one time there were none. So it depends on the situation and who you put in there.
You fucked me up with that one. You
That's
fucked me
going
up. I
to
like
open
that.
up the floodgates. That's what it really boils down to.
Because my answer was gonna be something.
Yeah.
I like that one. Well, go ahead.
Back to poodles in the project. All right.
Episode 1, Mike.
Is affirmative action a solution to racism? I don't think it's a solution to racism. Racists are still going to be racist, despite who you put in their face and who you put in the office next to them. It's not a solution for racism. I think it's a solution for equality of representation. So like we were saying, there might be 15, 20 kids in the hood that are qualified here to go to Harvard. Financially, couldn't even get close. They couldn't get a bus ticket to go there. So affirmative action ensures that these folks also have representation the same way that the folks that can afford representation, they still have those same opportunities.
That sounds more like scholarships.
No.
Affirmative action, be it true or not, it has this connotation that you don't qualify.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. That's not true.
I want to agree with him on that.
That's not true.
No, I'm just saying I'm agree with him on this
Connotation.
one because it's not true that you're not qualified, but I'm also always the black guy in the classroom.
But
But you breaking the stereotype. So by you being the black guy that comes in there and you break the stereotype of what quote unquote a black person is, ain't that what you want?
Look what
so
he
if
just
I
did
come
with
into
Jackie Robinson.
yeah, that's
No,
what I'm saying. If I
That's
come in
fine
there,
to be there,
That's
but
why I-
racists don't want him there.
There you
That
go.
doesn't mean he's not one of the better
That's-
baseball players
And that's why I
in the
said in
country.
certain contexts, like adding women to certain professions or certain positions.
or weight requirements and stuff like that.
What?
The BB,
That's kind of true. If you look at a lot of
It is
the
true.
runway shows now,
Yeah.
They're not all 15-pound models.
Yeah. Now we got the
That's
heavy.
affirmative action in a way?
It is.
That is.
Now they got the heavy duty joint. Now I got
I wouldn't say
Lizzo.
that's
They pushing
affirmative
Lizzo
action.
heavy.
I would say
That's the
just-
same thing I said.
Your
That's
tone?
equalitative. That's equalitative representation. That means you want to represent all folks.
I think people are speaking more because they're tired of seeing the same redundancy
Let
of
me-
skinny
well,
girls.
let me
That's
give
why.
you-
That's probably why they,
The big
that
girls, the thick
happened.
girl, I mean, with thick girls, and even you have
that's
like,
what it
yeah,
is.
even have like smaller girls like Kim Kardashian. You see, she has like
That has no bearing on what
No.
we're talking about.
No, I'm saying, no, I'm just.
Affirmative action, Kim. She's a lawyer.
No,
Let's
I was
swing it back around.
I was just saying, like he said people were tired of seeing the same thing. I said people want to see more thick and fuller women,
Yeah.
and more women that get.
So that's not affirmative action. That affirmative action is pretty much I'm gonna just give a person that's
I
qualified
just mean
that I
like-
want to give the opportunity to put them in that position.
So let
that's
me,
what that
so
is.
let me originally answer the question because y'all drifted. I just drove down the block with y'all.
Shit.
I
Go
drove
ahead.
down the block. That's where y'all going. Let's come
We
in.
wasn't on that block.
Real quick, I'll say this for me. I think affirmative action is a terrible idea. I think you're still the people who are making the decisions is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a board of people who, like, I'll use the NFL for a perfect example. The fact that they have, you have the Rooney rules where you have to
They hire
you have
these-
to, you have
not
to
hire,
interview.
but
You have to interview.
Yeah.
But then, like, common sense should play just a role. If 85 to 90%, I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm just saying that a large percentage of football players are African American, and you have these coaches who are not African American.
Owners too.
Not even the owners. Listen, I'm not going there with the owners because at the end of the day, there's only 30 teams. So at the end of the day, like, I can't assume that there's 30 billionaires who could afford a team. So that's a stretch that's way too far for me. That's the same thing with basketball. If I'm a rich person, I could buy a basketball team. That's totally different than saying somebody who's gonna tell the person what their skill set about.
Yeah, but if there's 30 black billionaires that all want to potentially buy a team and you don't interview any of them,
They're not giving up their team. Like Jerry Jones is like 99,000
no,
years
for these
old.
teams that are like the Suns that are going up for auction, Jazz and you know what I mean, like Usher's part owner, Justin Timberlake's part ownership. Those are the conversations that are being had now because you want everybody to be represented. Where before it was an oil tycoon from Texas that owned a bunch of niggas. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but he's the person too. But he's also the person too who has the finances and the resources to get that.
And that's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. See, Justin Timberlake and Usher, though, they are part of a partnership.
Yeah.
Now, if the oil tycoon said, "I just want to buy this thing all
All
flat
out,
out,"
yeah.
what you gonna tell me? You gonna take the dudes gonna take all flat out, or a person that I gotta get loans and I gotta get
That's it, and that's what
partnerships
he's talking about as
and
well.
stuff like that.
What we're saying is if that oil tycoon is black. If that oil tycoon is black, give that man a shot. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, but now we're talking if it was a fifth, we'll be
yeah.
drunk. That's why I said I'm
But
keeping
that's
it on
what I said
small.
affirmative.
That's what affirmative action is.
So I'll keep it on a small
Has a
level. Like I
negative
said,
connotation.
I was finishing this thought.
Okay.
When it comes to like football and stuff like that, that's just common sense stuff to me more than it is affirmative action. I think even when it goes back to the schools, if you have this board who is just only putting in kids to Yale or whatever, and they're only picking kids of a certain race or Asian
demographic.
kids or demographics, then shame on that board. That board needs to be handled, not affirmative action, because when you start going with, let me pick 6 underage privileged kids who have good grades, again, now I feel like the only black kid in that class.
But this is what I'm saying. You opening the door. Sometimes you have to be the guinea pig.
That's why I said you change my answer a little bit.
You have to be the guinea pig
That's why
to
I
open the door.
That's why
so
I
once you
respected
get in,
I respected that you before I came in here with my thought
Yeah.
pattern, but you definitely changed my mind.
Real quick,
to the degree.
there's a show on Netflix or a series of about 3 shows. Y'all remember the college admission scandal, right? When the celebrities, the chick from
Yeah.
Full House was sending her daughter.
I'm cool with that too. I like scandals.
Cool with the scandal. So what happened was colleges were accepting money in excess of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 to get their kid
In
to
the
go to
school,
school
yeah.
I like that.
as a fake, somebody on a rowing team or whatever. Affirmative action ensures that the folks that are qualified to actually bring grades there that cannot afford $500,000 via a side door, they still have a chance. So even if they're only the 10 black kids that are sitting in that classroom, they would have never had that opportunity if we didn't have affirmative action, because they would have just accepted 10 more people at $500,000 and your ass would have never had a shot. You go on a community
Like I
college
said.
down the street.
That's what I
so that's
said.
where, again,
you gotta take. You
That's
gotta
what I'm saying.
take.
it's not
Yeah,
a solution, but
it's
it
not-
has
it's
a
a
purpose.
purpose.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen, you guys mind fucked me into saying I kind of agree with you.
That's why we got a podcast.